Hey, what's up, y'all? This is episode 30, People's Podcast. Our conversation is going to be about the inauguration and then also coronavirus being real, whether it's man-made lab-made or something that happened or whatever. I got the perfect
Mm,
panel for this conversation right now. But first, we're going to
we
start with
missing one key component.
what's that? Oh,
We
you know
missing
what?
one key component.
Or not.
If
But
we
if you're
gonna
gonna
be
be
ignorant, we
ignorant,
just
be
gonna be
ignorant.
ignorant.
Yeah. So that's the saying right now. Um, but that came from last episode, by the way. But I wanted to say, ask, what do y'all think? Do y'all think there's gonna be issues tomorrow at the inauguration, or you think the government is well prepared for anything that could possibly happen?
No, I don't think there's going to be issues because they now know that their white privilege is not going to shield them from federal prosecution. They thought they were going to storm the Capitol, make things change, and turn around and go home and go back fishing and go back to Walmart. That's not happening. They're they are facing federal indictments. They're facing sedition, treason. Um, One woman who stole Nancy Pelosi's laptop was said to be suspected of trying to sell it to Russia.
Yeah, they
Nah,
just recently stole a laptop, right?
yeah,
Yeah, they
Yeah,
yeah.
said
Well,
she was gonna try to.
it
ain't
happened
even a
on the
whole week
sixth.
yet. I don't think.
She was trying to sell it. So now that they know that they're not being shielded by that privilege that they thought they had, I don't think they're going to be trying anything different because this now they get popped. 25,000 National Guards not happening. That's my opinion.
I think that
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no. Well, I think that they might try something like a small skirmish or something like that. It's not gonna be anywhere near the level of what we saw before. I think that it's gonna be some lone wolves out there trying to do their thing, trying to um stir up some trouble and cause some controversy, but it ain't gonna pop off the way they want it to. So I think it's pretty much gonna be under control with 25,000 troops. Yeah, it's gonna be under control.
I don't think if anything was to happen, me personally, I don't think it would happen at the Capitol again. Secondly, I really don't believe too many people is afraid of weekend warriors. That's my personal opinion. Don't some niggas train like once every 6 months or some shit?
Mhm.
I don't
Uh,
think so. I mean, it's hard to say in
The
Michigan.
National Guard, I mean, it's the military, but it ain't the same, bro. They don't. I mean, they go through boot camp, and then that's pretty much it. It ain't like they out in the field really doing stuff. Like,
With all this land, you never
I
know.
don't.
they armed though.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, but
I,
Joe Blow, nobody is armed too. I mean, that's a reason to be scared of somebody in general. Is oh, they got a weapon, but I mean, civilians do outnumber them. I'm just saying, like, I ain't trying to like stir the pot. You know what I'm saying? I know it seemed like that, but I just
well,
really don't feel like as much tension and everything that's going on. I just feel like the people at this point not gonna give a damn.
well, a lot of times, some of those National Guards are actually they retire from full service and then go over there. So it's not like they haven't been boots to ground for warfare. Some of them have, and the ones that choose to go are probably like you know weekend warriors, as you say. But I don't think anything is going to pop off this weekend. It would be too obvious.
You
Mhm.
absolutely right about that. It'd be too
It
obvious too soon.
So,
I, I think if anything, it'll be something small, but not far by not by the Capitol when everything's going on. They're too prepared this time for anything to happen. It's gonna be like right outside, but not too big if they want to have it.
I think if anything, it'd be a mishap or something. Just like
I
during
could see
I
a
mean,
standard protest. I could see standard protest, but nothing
I
like
see it
Yeah.
protesting, yeah, but anything like with violence, I highly doubt it because I mean, the element of surprise is gone right now. You know what I mean?
pretty. Yep.
Like
And
everybody on high
Honestly,
alert
yeah.
for tomorrow. So like it'd be like, what's the point? What you gonna do? Steal another podium?
one thing we've been saying a lot is is inside jobs. We've been suspecting that with the Capitol breach and everything like that. So do y'all suspect anybody within the troops, within those 25,000 National Guardsmen? Like there might be somebody who is playing both sides who might
Absolutely.
Well, they purged them already. The leader of the Oath Keeper.
12 of them.
Well, yeah, the leader of the Oath Keeper's been arrested. 12 of them have been removed, and I think 2 of those were suspected out of the 25,000. So I just can't. I can't see it unless this person is just completely straight up deranged and have nothing to lose, and just want to make get their 3 names in a history book, because all assassins and people who commit that, they always get their first, middle, and last name
James Earl Ray.
immortalized. James Earl Ray, all that
John
stuff like
Wilkes
that.
Booth.
So,
John Wilkes
John
Booth.
Wilkes
Yeah.
Booth, exactly. So, but other than that, I think
Yeah, that's the thing.
if there was no federal indictments from January 6th, and they was treating that with soft gloves, then yeah, we would have had some issues tomorrow.
Mhm.
We would have had some issues
And
tomorrow.
then like people like doing unnecessary stuff too. Like, what are you gonna do with a podium? Where you gonna
Right.
keep people podium?
Well, the backstory to that is that he was running for the dude that was supposed to be head of neighborhood watch. So he wanted to have a podium for when he come out and
Good night.
The United States of America still
Good night.
and he got a podium. Yeah, okay. They said he put it on eBay though.
Of course, he puts
Yeah,
on
he
eBay.
did.
now
He
that's
did.
more believable.
Yeah, it was on eBay for like 27 grand for a bid.
Yeah, and he's taking pictures with it. Then
Hmm
the mail. People messing with mail. No offense, but black folks know not to mess with no mail. They do everything under the sun, but you don't mess with the mail.
Yeah.
They opening mail out of the Capitol building.
Mhm.
Man, you must
That's
ain't
a
lived
federal
at my
offense
folks'
already.
house. 'Cause
Federal.
no mail coming there and somebody opening your shit. I don't
And he's
give a
taking
damn your
selfies
name
with-
wanted or not. They opening that shit in my family.
Yeah, the opening mail. Dude put his feet. They got the guy who put his feet on Pelosi desk and everything. I think that was the same person that had her mail, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Then we was talking about last episode, the lady that went to the White House to meet Reagan. She got her wish.
Wow.
Yeah, I was talking to my daughter about that today. Was that the same woman who said her last post was to the effect of she'd rather die before she see Biden in office?
Yeah, or
was
something. She said like nothing can stop us or something like that. But
Only in
written,
America where dreams come true.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
Honestly.
and that was like,
And she got popped by a black guy. She got popped by a black cop.
and there's no repercussions to that though, right? It really is. They trained to do that, right?
If it is
Nah.
some repercussions,
No, they
smoke in the city.
She was the aggressor. It's on her. It is what it is.
But she barely got a knee up or had a knee up or something in there.
Window.
Stop. But yeah, she had a knee up. That was it.
Oh, man.
Out of there.
This shit is
And,
crazy as hell.
And then Trump, they gave him his accounts back for the all of that.
The what?
They did.
I thought it was permanently suspended.
No, they said until probably after all of this, but I think they said they gave him some accounts back or something like that.
No, not yet. I don't think yet. Some of them he's got is indefinitely. He can't even.
Yeah, he
Can't even
caused
get
enough
those back.
damage as it is.
Yeah, but they said that Facebook and Twitter done lost over like 80 million or 90 million because they
Because
took
of him.
that man's account down. Yeah.
That's really not gonna hurt them.
Oh,
though, man.
That's
Yeah,
not
it
gonna
ain't
hurt.
But you
At
know
the end
what?
of the day, no, it ain't. But that's a major loss. Now imagine if people was really getting in behind them, like, yeah, well, fuck it, we finna.
They came back. They came back because they left Facebook to go to Parler, and then Amazon shut down the service to Parler, and so they end up turning around coming back to Facebook. But now all of their pages are locked because a lot of people, even on my friends list, can't post in groups and do certain posts and stuff like that until after the inauguration.
I can't either. Like I
See?
can't post in any
Yeah.
groups.
Uh,
I thought it was because of all the shit for that I talk on my
No, it's just that
mm,
they don't want people exchanging information, especially when it come
Mhm.
down to something that's got
I
to do with the
and I
political
do
shit.
that majorly. Like I have no problem with it. But I didn't know what was up with that. I'm like, I can't even post in these groups, but oh
I'm
well.
surprised. I'm surprised I
That's
can
why y'all
post.
got to understand, like, when you on social media, you do need to check what you saying because you can easily get put on the list by the shit you post. Now, if you just
Okay,
on their shit posting
I
all
got
day, they
the
don't give a damn about that. But somebody that's got like a political voice and they out here trying to wake people up and stirring up things, you can believe they're watching you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know I got
Oh,
to
oh,
follow, especially on
absolutely. I
Twitter.
believe it.
Yeah,
Nah,
they
it's,
stay
watching me.
it's true.
I don't take
They
no
stay
chances.
watching
They
my
go back
shit.
3 years to find something that wasn't even worth even reporting. So I don't even know.
But they always taught us this, when we were in school. If you wanted any kind of a picture, watch what you say online. And I'm one of those people who really don't care because I'm like, I'm one of those people that when you meet me, I am what you saw. And some of my thoughts, if you take them out of context, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat my words or whatever. You know,
That's good.
it's just like, yeah.
Me, I'm the opposite. I think I would get in more trouble from the stuff I post than how I am in real life.
I've been in Facebook jail so many times.
I just got out, but I'm the same person that I am on. I don't care. I'm gonna say what I want to
Mhm.
say, and that's just the end of it. And you can take it how you want, because I'm not in control of that. So
Because anything, if you're a black person, anything that you say that is counter um, the accepted notions or whatever, you're regarded as racist or fear mongering and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm just like, look, I'm just real. I'm just gonna be, 100% out there with whatever thoughts that I have.
I had
And
before. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, go no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying as I was listening to you, um, before I got COVID in March, I was actually working on my March cover of BP Mag, and I don't know if y'all could see it. It's probably kind of hard to see. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, I see the
There
BP
we
though.
go. Okay.
Uh,
I
it's
see the BP.
Start using
Okay.
StreamYard so we can let people share the screen.
hmm, dang, can't see it, but it was basically saying does Facebook hate black people, and I was trying to see. It's probably too bright. Hold
Yeah,
on.
screen too bright. Turn your screen down.
That's saying though, I'd say.
There
You
you
There we
probably
go.
can
There
go.
hear
you
me.
There we
go.
go.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
We can see it.
there we go.
Yeah,
That look good too.
It
and you
looks
see how
very
the
nice.
emoticons is like Confederates and Nazis and police and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So that was the cover of it,
God bless you.
the Facebook hate. And
They
so
don't
in
knock,
that
baby.
issue,
They
I
don't
was
knock.
going to be providing people with like ways to say certain words. Like if you ever seen on some of my posts, I use the word Dwight, like the name Dwight, and then folks. So I put it together and just call it Dwight folks.
Yeah, yeah,
White
yeah.
So
people.
That's very good. People
Hate the
told me that when I
system.
went to jail. When I went to Facebook jail, they was like, "You can't spell it the way it's like that." I'm like, "What? Just say
or
it
if
like
people
that."
use YT for white, yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta
So
say
I'm like,
it
Hmm.
like
yeah, I was a savage. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was primitive.
But you know what they'll also do though, even if you can get away with saying certain things or whatever, they'll bury posts so very few people see them. And
Almost
very
definitely.
people, of course, because nobody saw it. And that happens to me. Like, I still don't care.
Most definitely. What I've noticed is they they recycle the same 15 motherfuckers on my damn Facebook. I see the
it's an
same
algorithm.
15 people post every day. And it's like, I don't give a fuck what I'm searching. Like, I know it's the program of the phone is programmed to suggest the shit that I search on my internet. So
Yes.
if I'm looking at something on my internet, when I go to my Facebook, that's the type of videos and that's the type of people that it's supposed to suggest to me. It suggests these same 15 motherfuckers. I'm talking about to the point today, all day today. I'm seeing shit that motherfuckers posted 2 and 4 days ago. Like, what the
Yes.
fuck is going on, man? But like I said, I know I'm one of them motherfuckers that they watch. So, you know, right now is really like a critical time. I don't need to be
But you
speaking
know,
out on
Facebook
nothing. They
uses
don't want me
it
speaking
uses
out
the
on nothing to
algorithm.
even right, right.
So whoever you converse with the
That
most are people that's going to be most active in your timeline.
all right. I want to convert this part of the podcast to talking about switching over to Corona. I'm gonna let Kwame, my kinfolk, take this question and go from there. How do you feel about people saying that it's not real?
What the fuck ever. Shit. Look, I caught COVID and I was like in the first wave. I caught it back in March. I think I got it from my wife. My wife got it from my bonus baby, my stepdaughter. And when she had it, I don't think wasn't really nobody talking about it because we didn't realize what it was until retrospect. For simple fact, like it was in the news, but it was kind of like over in California and stuff like that. So my daughter, she had came downstairs to make something to eat, and she started eating, and she got mad and threw it in the trash. And we sitting there looking at her like, "What's wrong with you?" And she was like, "I can't taste it. I can't smell it, and I can't taste it." And we was like, "Oh, okay." Not knowing that that's one of the symptoms. At that time, they didn't even say that was a symptom. At that time,
Mm-hmm.
um, so then, it started bubbling in the news and it was talking about and it started spreading state to state. And then my wife had got sick and so she had a major cough. And then so I'm nursing her. We going out buying toilet paper and tuna and just all this kind of stuff, just stocking up. I mean, we was already people that bought in bulk anyway because our household is big. So she got sick, so I'm nursing her. And then I got sick. And when I got sick, it was bad. I woke it was like constantly drowning, but you can't catch your breath. So it started with a fever though. So I felt the fever coming. I'm getting chills, I'm getting fever, and then I just woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't breathe. And I'm just trying to breathe. I'm trying hard. I'm gasping for air. I'm gasping for air. And it was so hard. It was almost like I just felt like my lungs was going to just collapse. I was just going to be done. So I had literally went downstairs to die because I thought I was going to die. And I didn't want my wife to wake up next to me dead and I'd be the memory of her. I said, I went downstairs to my favorite chair, sat there, and went down there and was prepared to die. But apparently I didn't die. I was actually able to breathe a little better because of the position that I was in. So I felt that it was severe enough. I wanted to make sure I didn't have any like pneumonia because pneumonia that could exacerbate it and make it worse. So I did end up in the hospital, but my pulse ox was high enough, just high enough not to need uh, uh um what's the word I'm looking for? Y'all help me out.
Ventilator.
Respirate ventilator. Thank you. Jeez,
Mm-hmm.
brain fog. I had brain fog. So my post oxygen level was just high enough where I didn't need a ventilator. So they was basically like go home and ride it out. So I went home, came home. She's coughing. I'm coughing. I can't breathe. I'm sleeping on my knees like I'm praying like 8 hours a night. Like I would get on the side of my bed to sleep for 8 hours like I'm praying, or I would have to lay on my stomach. Um, it was horrible. It was horrible. And just as quick as it came, it left. So it leaves,
Yes.
right? So it leaves, and everything was just like cool. So then a week later, I get a cough again. So I'm coughing about another month and a half. That goes away. And then everything's back to normal. Now I'm back, I'm back outside. I'm walking, I'm trying to exercise my lung because it did a job on my lungs. Like for real, y'all, it literally felt like my like I just went 10 rounds with Tyson, just my with my arms up and just let him went to work on my ribs. Like that's literally how it felt. Um, so then at the beginning of September, I end up with what's called long COVID. And long COVID, that's actually what killed Debo from Friday.
Uh-huh.
Long COVID is what you have if you had COVID, you survive COVID, but then the symptoms come back, but you don't actually have COVID. It's residual effects. So people are getting heart disease, lung disease, kidney disease. People are developing glaucoma. It's aging your body. The shortness of breath comes back. Now that lasted for 4 months. So I had long COVID, or we call long haulers, for 4 months. So for 4 months, I'm on my stomach about 70% of the time. My resting heart rate is 140 beats a minute. So I'm sitting here like I am now, but my heart's beating at 140 beats a minute.
Fast,
Um,
very fast.
very fast. Like that's where my heart is at now when I go, because I'm back into the gym. So now when I'm doing my running my laps, that's where my heart rate is at. But I'm running, so it makes sense for it to be beating that fast. But when you're sitting still, it shouldn't go that fast. So um, the worst part about it is, I'll get a stress test, echocardiogram. I had the heart catheterization. I had all these tests, but they can't see nothing. None of the modern tests that they have can see this. The only person that was really able to assist me was my pulmonologist, and she had to explain that they was like, well, his oxygen level is high. She was like, that doesn't mean anything. For lung restriction, your your pulse ox tells how much oxygen is in your blood. That's not talking about your lung restriction. So it came back, and I had to deal with that. So about 2-3 weeks ago, maybe it just started. I started getting over it. So now I'm at the point where I don't even need my medication. So that's that's why I was able now to jump on a podcast, because I couldn't talk. My job requires me to talk. I work from home, but I couldn't talk
Yeah, I remember saying like you have
without
to preserve
spazzing.
yourself for that too. I mean, which is more your health is more important than anything, for sure.
I'm also a COVID survivor.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, I'm also a recent COVID survivor myself, and I feel bad because, well, not bad. On the podcast, on the people's podcast, talking about the effects of COVID and whether or not people need to get the vaccine at the end of December. January 1st, Happy New Year's. I woke up and I cooked my breakfast and everything like that. And I was like, I don't know, maybe something wrong with me because I can't really taste this that strong. And it took me till late when I was eating some spaghetti and I was like, look, I can't even taste spaghetti sauce at all. And I'm like, there was like something metallic to it a little bit, but I realized also that I couldn't even smell it. And I was like, well, I had just come off of being congested on one side or whatever, and I had nasal congestion and all that kind of stuff like that, but it wasn't that bad. So of course I didn't take anything for it. I didn't go anywhere for it. And so by the time I realized that, look, you can't smell or taste. I said, look, maybe I do have COVID, and I said I didn't want to go to get tested for it because another affirmative raises the numbers in our state. And all and doesn't taste or and then within a few hours, um, you know, I was still feeling fine. I kept taking my temperature and everything like that. I never actually got sick. I had slight body aches, so I felt very vitamins and like that. And I try to eat healthy. So it could be that my immunity was strong at the time that I encountered it, that I didn't encounter any severe symptoms. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I have comorbidities like a lot of people, I'm asthmatic and all this other kind of stuff, but I never got severely ill with it. And my sister also got it while I was recovering. And we live, in different states. So it's not like we transmitted it to each other. But her living in Michigan with her 3 children, having it and me having it down here, I'm worried because I'm thinking, okay, well, if I can't go there and she can't come here, who's going to help? Who's going to take care of the kids? And so you start to think about your family when you're going through these kinds of things. And that's when it starts to get real to you. When you're going through it by yourself and you're just sitting by yourself and I'm sitting up here watching Netflix and streaming videos and ordering DoorDash. I'm feeling good. But I'm starting to think about what would happen if I didn't make it and my whole family had to take care of me or I had to take care of one of them. So I think that's the realest thing that maybe we need to put into context when we start to getting all, proud and talking about, oh, COVID ain't nothing, it ain't that, you ain't got to worry about this. I mean, it's real things happening in our families. But I'm 100% recovered. The only after effect that I had is I was washing my hands and one of my hands felt like it was on fire for some reason. It was like a pins and needles sensation. And I know that that's not one of the things that you see in a textbook COVID, symptom list, but I know that it's something I never felt before. And then when I got into the shower, I felt it in my foot. So it's like, COVID produces a whole bunch of weird symptoms that really
It
don't have an
does.
explanation.
Yep. And they're still learning. They are. They're like right now, they can't even deal with the long COVID because they're still trying to get the disease under control in itself. And now we got a variant that we have to deal with. So once, you know, they need what 70% of people to take the vaccine in order to reach herd immunity. But even if we are able to do that, we still have to deal with the onslaught of long-term issues that people may develop. And people, the reason why they was able to determine the long COVID, my friend of mine, he's a doctor. He was actually my mom's doctor before she passed away. Um, he reached out to me while it was happening. He didn't know. He just knew I had COVID, and he reached out to me just to check on, to tell me about it because it was developing in football players. College football players were having
Mhm.
heart attacks. They had COVID,
Yes.
but weren't symptomatic. They had it. So
Hmm.
just because you're walking around and you're asymptomatic doesn't mean that you can't have after effects because it still affects the body internally, regardless on
Right.
how sick that you get physically. So I got sick really bad. The neighbor could have got it, wasn't that bad, but still have the adverse effects as well. So people aren't
Hmm.
understanding that it's still affecting the body whether you are
Oh,
asymptomatic or symptomatic.
yes.
All right. That's real heavy, man, and that's for a lot of people that don't. There's still people out there, believe it or not, that haven't came into contact with anybody that has it or lost anyone that has it. So they believe truly, they really think that it doesn't really exist.
Mhm.
Four
So
hundred thousand.
I'll try to share this as much as possible. Y'all do the same just to get that information out there. Because first and foremost, nobody can tell y'all what y'all went through. Nobody can tell y'all what the doctors told y'all. Y'all seen the paperwork. Y'all felt the feeling. You know what I'm saying? This is
Yep.
like kind of somber and everything, but I mean, it could have turned out both. It could have turned out bad for both of y'all, and that's one thing. Like you never knew you would see. Like if you walked around today or drove around and looked at people today, it would seem like some type of sci-fi movie with everybody wearing masks and stuff like that. You never would imagine seeing nothing like
Man, that hospital. When I went to the hospital, if you ever watched The Walking Dead, the very first
Hmm.
episode, the very first season, they had to check me. They basically triaged me in the parking lot. My wife had dropped me off. Then they brought me in. I saw absolutely no one. The walls were covered in plastic. Rooms were taped off. I didn't see anybody. It was almost like I was the only person in that hospital. I would see other staff, but they looking like they're astronauts or like working for a hazard, like they working at Chernobyl or something. You know what I mean? So when I'm in there, so just think about this. A lot of people went in that same way and never came out,
Hmm.
never got to see family. because when I was in there, I'm isolated. No one could come in there. No one can talk to me.
That is
And
cool.
some people never made it out. It was it was it was the craziest thing I've ever experienced. I've never experienced anything like that before in my life.
That is crazy. Well, we living in some crazy times. But Kwame, we don't get a chance to chat often, but I did want to. This has been an ongoing question, like I've been having since it's been going on. What do you think about our future, how we look going on into 2022? Because 2021, I think, is already a wrap.
Um,
Already.
yeah, it's. I think personally, I think life is not going to be the same. We're going to get back to normal, but it's not going to be the normal that we once experienced and knew. Um, socially, you have anybody? And what's your name, sweetheart? You said you had COVID as well. What's your name?
Oh, Andrea.
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 Have you been like watching TV, and you might be watching a show that maybe came on, and you be sitting there looking like, why aren't they social distancing? Like I'm developing
Yes.
PTSD.
Yeah.
I do that.
Like I'm sitting here like,
Everything feels like
why aren't
they
they
doing
social
the wrong
distancing?
thing.
Yeah, I'm sitting here watching a movie or TV show on Netflix, and I'm like, everybody just standing too close to each other. Like, what's going on? What's
Mhm.
going on? You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's literally changing our psychological makeup on how we engage with one another. You know,
I was
and
at Costco about to flip because he didn't have any gloves on or anything like that. And I'm like, see, you probably gave them, I'm like, I'm accusing the whole world
Yeah.
because I
we,
feel like somebody had something, they did something careless, all became of their carelessness.
2022, in my opinion, we're going to see a lot of heightened mental and psychological effects to this. I had a panic attack going to Sam's Club. This was still during the time of COVID. I didn't have it anymore, but I was just fresh out of it to where it really fucked me up. So we go into the Sam's Club, and I literally started sweating and perspiring, and I literally started crying. And my wife literally, I had to go back and sit in the truck. I couldn't take it. It was far too many people in there. It psychologically just damaged me. I couldn't do it. I was hyperventilating. Um, I'm still kind of nervous on going out. The only thing that's making me feel a little bit better is I personally, I'm going to take the vaccine when it's available for me. Because I understand the science behind it. That may make me feel a little bit better. But as far as 2022, we're going to see a lot of psychological residual effects from this. We're going to be dealing with this for a few years.
That's very, very interesting. Actually, I was somewhere today. I was programming a fryer today, and they ran out of the regular plastic gloves. It was like, man, this don't feel right. It just don't feel right. It's a good thing. On a positive note, it was like, well, shoot, we got some gloves. We got the coleslaw gloves. And those are those are gloves that come up to your they come up here. So they walking around with the gloves on. I'm like, well, something better than nothing though. Somebody took initiative to even care. But psychologically they were just like, this just don't feel right. No gloves. And they used the gloves. They was some big long. They was some. It was hell putting them on and off, but they made sure they had on gloves. Because realistically, some things should have been put in effect as it is anyway. Certain.
Yeah.
True. True.
But you know what? We should have been doing this, like flu and all these other diseases that are communicable. We should have been doing something like that.
Like,
Yeah,
what?
ain't it crazy though? Don't this kind of tell you how easily we just pass germs to each other and never really paid attention to it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the disgustingest thing ever. Like,
you ever ate at a buffet, right? That little sneeze guard ain't do nothing.
Right. And I'm trying to open up all you can eat Popeyes in Michigan. And I'm just like, man, I don't know if I'm able to do that now.
No.
They only got one in Louisiana. But I'm trying to figure out how to get one here. But I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of things changed too. That like the laws changed, procedures changed with that. especially in the restaurant business, everything is like way, way different. And I mean, and everything changes. It changes a lot too. Like it
You know
almost.
what makes me mad, y'all? All these lies about contactless stuff or whatever. Like I'm going through, I trust things. I'm trying to, get past my fears of stuff. Go through like um, fast food restaurants or whatever, and I went to Taco Bell, and they handed me like my food, but they put it in a bag and handed it on a tray and handed it to me.
That's
And
what
I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not what contactless. What are what
no,
is
no, no.
that?
They're doing it wrong. It's
I
confusing.
know. I'm just thinking, but I'm just looking at it like you still touch the bag, you still touch the food, touch the tray, touch everything, touch my debit card, like
Yeah,
like
I can
what's
break down the
contactless
whole. I
here?
can break it down to you once later, like after the fact or off the record, of how it's supposed to be done because it's real confusing. And if you do it wrong, it's pointless. It's very, very pointless. Like, I'm
Yes,
gonna take your money with my hand, and put your food with my hand inside of the basket, and then
mm,
hand it to you in the basket. Like,
right,
you don't just touch the card and the food, the basket. So I mean,
right,
if you ever get time, I'll let you know how that
Are
works.
y'all talking about that Taco Bell shit they be doing?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what everybody's supposed to be doing.
Everybody's
Every
I
supposed
mean, I
to.
everybody
appreciate the
everybody
effort.
should
I
do that.
mean, if I'm gonna get the Rona, I'd rather just go ahead and have good old fashioned skin on skin contact to go through all that shit.
Yeah, yeah, but see, I want a low dosage of it. Just give me a little bit. Like, there is
you
Hey,
know,
I'm trying to go
A little
outside
Rona.
raw
hey,
dog life.
yeah, a little wrong.
hey,
Just
Abdul.
a little bit of
Huh?
Rona.
Hey, remember we had that little basket for a minute that we
Yeah,
had to hand out?
that's the way it's supposed to
Damn.
be.
That's how. Yeah, that's how
And
it's
technically,
supposed
it's
to
supposed to
be.
be two baskets.
It's
One
supposed
for
to
the
be, yeah,
money,
two
and
baskets,
one for the
gloves and everything.
yeah. And
mhm.
and Drea just tickled.
Yeah, it
Right.
did. It did. It did.
You looking like somebody that made your stuff and put it in the basket and handed it to you from the basket.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's like,
Exactly,
I can.
And I'm gonna take cash. I'm like, ooh.
They take cash. Yeah, everybody's
exactly.
like, okay.
I mean, I appreciate what they're trying to do because I'm like, I guess they really care. They're trying to do their jobs professionally and everything. But I'm just like, baby, this ain't the way. We got to
Quick
do
turn,
something
so we
else here.
pass you.
Oh, real quick before I
Yeah, but you
forget,
platter.
to piggyback the original question that you was asking, this pandemic does also show the vulnerabilities of our society. You know, as we're talking about as far as the
Mhm.
restaurants and as she was saying, it showcased some things that we could have been doing in the beginning. Like I like the fact that they were providing certain hours for the elderly to come grocery shop or do certain
Mhm.
things first. We
Yes.
could have been doing that from the beginning, but it shows how vulnerable our medical, our healthcare system is. It shows how the people that 2 or 3 months before Corona hit, people running around saying these essential workers don't deserve to be paid more because they're not skilled job. Man,
Mhm.
fuck all that.
You're
You
right.
know, no,
You're right.
they do. They do need to be paid. So it showed these vulnerabilities and it showed these flaws in our system. That's why me personally, I was a Bernie supporter. I'm still glad Biden won, but I was a Bernie supporter. But it
Okay.
it exposed our society, and now it's kind of we're looking at it in retrospect, like yeah, maybe we do need to pay these people that work in these restaurants and these grocery stores a little bit more because when everything else shut down that we all thought that was high and mighty, your job, you don't mean shit. We don't need you.
That's
We
right.
don't need you right now, but we need to
True.
eat. We need all these basic necessities that you don't think deserve a living wage. Those are the people that we needed. We didn't need
Right.
you. So
Mhm.
I think that's going to help change legislation. So
Yes.
Well, yeah, definitely. Something's gonna have to give. And then I touched this topic a lot. A lot could have been done a lot sooner if it wasn't for slow well, I would say a downplay of what Corona was.
Mhm.
It's just
but you know, Trump
That's right.
disbanded the pandemic team that Obama left.
he
So
dismantled it, right?
yeah, he dismantled the
Yeah.
pandemic thing because they was dealing with Ebola. And that's why they went back in 2014. That's why he put that together to be able to respond. He got in, he dismantled it in 2018. Here we are.
And who
Uh,
allowed him? Like he had advisors, right?
Yeah, but
he,
he
I saw that
they
reaction.
were his
he,
advisors.
Right.
They were his advisors, not our advisors.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
but
they're
yeah,
all yes men.
and Trump is exactly Trump is unique in that everybody in his cabinet, these people fear him, they revere him, and they fear him. Like I can't believe that there were so many cowardly people in Washington you know, from the top all the way down to the bottom. I'm like, all of these senators, all these people that want to oppose him, all these secretaries and all that, they won't do. I mean, you won't say even Pence, you're afraid of him. You suppose? I mean, I'm so disappointed with all of that because I thought that if we ever had any kind of leadership that was just really unchecked and really out, have all of these people that would just say, "This is the wrong way for the country. I'm not going to support you on this. I'll go against you." But we didn't have that. We had people who were yes men until they got fired or they
Or
stepped down and resigned.
True,
yep.
and then they
true.
wanted
And
to
if you
talk about
read,
this.
and I know that it's probably not interesting, but I read Betsy DeVos's resignation letter. She is the uh, uh, education secretary,
Yep.
and she is responsible for basically getting funding for higher ed as well as public education across the country. And I read her resignation letter, and it was just a whole bunch of um, platitudes for Trump. We've done terrific work under this administration, and as much as I've enjoyed being here and being with you and laboring to make education great across America, I have to sit down because the insurrection. You could have done more in that situation. That's what you say in a resignation letter. That's supposed to be an F you to him. Like, look, I done served you faithfully, and this is what you did. You almost got us killed, you bastard. You know,
Maybe it's something
that's
Right.
what a
something with them.
resignation and
He wasn't
anger is
qualified
supposed to
for
be
that
about.
position.
Somebody doing
He
the apprentice is going to show up
No,
when he got off.
all his
but
advisors
she
were
did a
people
lot.
that weren't even
Did a
qualified.
lot of kids and sit down. I'm like, why would you do that? Mm-hmm.
Nobody told him what he needed to be told. Everybody, as you say, is too scared to even
Yep.
talk to the man. What should have happened? Like how you said, there should have been a plan already intact from Obama. This never
Mm-hmm.
happened. For right now, we're at least 2 light years away from everybody being on course, coming together as a nation, and saying that maybe out of the water. Hopefully, this new administration gets it right. Plan intact. Everybody has to follow it in tune with the vaccine. We
Mm-hmm.
need more structure in this United States because either it's going to be 50 this way, 50 that way, and we can't have that happen.
Here's why I think this administration is naive, even though it's a historical administration. If you notice recently, they've been on the news talking about healing the nation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a divide. The divide has always been there.
But you know what? They already did it now.
Always been there. It's always been there. Before Obama, before Bush,
Mm-hmm.
black people, we have been telling America that there's two Americas. We've been telling them this
Yes.
since Reconstruction. There's two Americas, man. This naivety of healing the nation, in my eyes, just means we need to push it back down to where the races are afraid to speak out again. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's never going to be a healed nation. It's always going to be a divide. They're always, you can legislate
Resentment.
laws, but you can't legislate minds. So they're always going to
Mm-hmm.
feel that way. They're always going to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think, I wasn't a Hillary Clinton supporter. I did vote for her. I didn't like her. But when she called them deplorables, where's the lie? They were January
Mm-hmm.
6th, they showed how deplorable they were. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
in the interest of shaking hands with the people that want to kill me. Fuck them.
All
I'm a
right.
son of
Yeah.
True.
Good. Good.
Matt Turner and Denmark Vesey. So
True.
And I mean, and it's crazy though, because when we're thinking about how much opportunity for America, and we're still going to be divided politically. So none of us will ever, not, I'm not going to say none, but few of us will attain what we should attain through our American citizenship, because we have that pit us against one another. And that resentment isn't going anywhere. You know, Trump knew exactly who he had to appeal to. I believe Trump is a racist. I don't really believe he's a white supremacist. Now, there's a lot of evidence that could say so, but I don't really believe he is. I think he's bigger than white supremacy, to the extent that he knew exactly what to say, what to do, how to appeal to him. He knew which people to use. And as long as we continue to remain divided, somebody will always be able to use us in our emotions for their own personal interests, for their own gain. And that's what Trump is a master at. He's a con artist. And not to say that we don't have con artists in a Democratic Party, any party working, against us. And they use Black emotion. They use our emotions about fear of racism and economic disparities and stuff like that. They use that against us, just like how Trump uses fear of racial progress by minorities against white people and against us ultimately.
Yep. That was but that's always been the playbook. I mean, if you figure during the height of slavery in the antebellum South, maybe 3% of white people owned slave, but 97% didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Why was slavery still able to go so long? Because they were able to convince that 97% of those white people that 100% of those black people deserve to be where they at. Because if they progress, it takes away from you, just like you said.
That's right.
So Trump was that capitalist who wants to convince, like Lyndon Baines Johnson, if you can convince that the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, he'll give you his money. So Trump is that guy that wants those white people that's below him to think that they're better than the black people. And as long as they do that, they'll fight for you. So he's fighting. So that's all those people that stormed that Capitol. That's all they were. They were that 97% that was storming that Capitol. Because all of this happened simply because black people voted. If you think about it, we flipped Michigan back blue. We flipped Wisconsin back. We turned Georgia, all because of the black vote. And so because
that
black
was
people,
the runoff, right?
That was the runoff.
But, and then that made that made it Democratic
Senate. We flipped the Senate. So we flipped the White House.
Yep.
We kept the House. We flipped the White House. We flipped the Senate. We flipped Georgia. We turned Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania all back blue. Arizona blue. Black people voted, and everybody lost their shit. They went crazy.
And then we get that 1400 stimmy too.
Can't wait. Get me a PS5 and some hookers. No, I'm just playing.
Got a long night of editing again.
But
I'm gonna get the wifey get a radio for a truck. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay.
There you go.
We can be like, we can just pool our money together, brother, and we can buy our own planet. You gotta think, brother, think.
Look. Look. I just bought a baby with Bitcoin.
We just buy our own planet and move, brother.
Levels, dog. Water is the basic necessity of life. All we need is a droplet, baby. And we all done.
Droplet.
This show been a long time coming, and after last week's podcast, it was wild. Andrea, you saw it? Andrea, you saw it?
I didn't get to see it all.
Tell
me about it. Catch me up.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna leave it. Yeah, I can tell. I studied facial without the mask recognition. I got that going. So as the facial features, yeah, it was something else. And
I see you growing the fro.
wish Kwame was on there like last week, but I get it. It would have been a whole different ball game. But this puts stuff in perspective, though, because I mean, the whole point of the podcast is have different minds, different insights come together, and we, no judgment zone or whatever. So if something's far fetched or whatever, then I mean, okay, it is what it is. But I mean,
Mhm.
from my perspective, I saw my cousin struggle with Corona, so and he can articulate what he went through. So what better person to have on there? Somebody that can articulate, someone that actually went through it. And Drea, I didn't know until recently. I read one of your posts that you had, which is crazy.
And then I don't want to tell his business, but a mutual friend of ours also was going through it at the same time, and he called me. I'm going through COVID. I'm okay, and all that kind of stuff like that. And I immediately just got like so worried because my godson is actually was in the hospital for 6 weeks with it, and he's younger
Mm.
than I am. And that's the crazy thing is when you think about the people you care about, and our mutual friend Abdul is, he's fit, healthy, all that kind of stuff
Yeah,
like
and
that.
we not need to say his name. We only got one mutual friend. So
No, 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 no. I'm not trying to like
but yeah, you're not
you
gonna
know,
say, but
yeah, so he's fit and stuff like that. He's the one talking to me about veganism and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting up here with a steak in my mouth, like, huh? you know, but
COVID
at the
don't
same
care.
time,
It don't care
yeah,
what your
it
diet
does
is.
not care. It does not care. Like there's a reason I'm trying to, and my godson, he's only 23, and I'm trying to figure out, how is it that it just grabs hold of some people? And, you know, I'm not calling myself lucky because I just don't know what the after effects really are. But I just feel
I would consider both of
like
y'all
my heart was heavy.
blessed. I wouldn't say luck, but I mean, y'all can have a testament to tell people.
Yeah, definitely a testament.
Well, they say it affects men more because of some kind of certain enzyme. So I know it affects us worse as overall men more than it does women, but it does affect women as well. But
And then
I don't know. It's a
I gotta
luck of the
hit you with
draw.
the question just to put the nail in the coffin. I gotta hit y'all with the question. So y'all do not absolutely think that COVID is effective from the 5G towers?
Hell no.
No,
Had to
No,
ask. Don't they
no,
no.
had to ask.
No,
I'm not
absolutely
asking
not.
for
I
me.
don't
I have
know.
my own beliefs, but 5G tower,
I
for
don't
real?
really
Mm,
even know what to think of my friends who I look, I got some people who I thought I still I think very highly of, float that theory to me, and I'm just like, look, I believe that there are environments that can always affect your health. True. A virus,
Oh man, I'm you.
Is she? Hey, Cuzzo, I have to get ready to head out. I think she needs to unmute her
Yeah, I
mic.
was telling I'm you. All right, cuz man, I appreciate it, man.
Okay, we'll chop it up next week. I'll be back next week too. Now that I'm
Okay.
back, I should be able to fit you in.
All right, cool. I send this to you when I upload it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. It was great to speak with everybody. I got to head out.
oh,
Got
yeah.
a honey-do list to do.
All right, cuz.
Blessings,
All
blessings.
right.
And I'm sorry, I didn't even know I was muted.
Yeah, you muted
But
yourself right when you were saying
about
real stuff. Go ahead.
okay, I was just saying, yeah, I was talking about the 5G tower thing, and I was just saying that, um, look, there are people who I think very highly of, and I think they are very intelligent and all that kind of stuff. But when they floated that theory, I just was like, I got to take 10 points for this because it's just like it, there is no scientific data that proves that the transmission of a radio wave signal creates viruses in the body. Now, I
Oh,
believe
it
that there
is.
are environmental
Wait.
factors. I believe there are environmental factors that do affect the body. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get get me to thinking, I mean, don't get to thinking that I'm saying nothing from the outside can affect the inside of your body. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that we already been under 4G and going faster than that. And all this is something that is already here and it's always been here. So to say that it creates a virus and the virus then gets in your body affects you, that's just not, I believe that maybe possibly something from the outside can affect the body itself, like it can make your cells act differently, but to create a whole nother organism that gets inside your body, that don't make sense.
And then the thing is too, like, to be correct, okay,
What
5G been around, military used it first, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we always get handed down what they use when they done use it. Remember church? That
Hmm.
was like,
Oh yeah, the chirp phone.
yeah. That was a whole different level of
Hmm.
excuse me. But yeah, that doesn't, it just doesn't. Now everything is 5G now. Period. Your phone might say 4G, but it's coming from a 5G tower.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's like it activates anything. Like I don't think the towers activate that. I mean, and using a 5G tower just to actually say that type of stuff too. Like I don't think it's like, oh, and then everybody should, the 5G should have just knocked off everybody, right? It shouldn't be any type of
Right. It shouldn't be hit
Yeah.
and miss.
yeah, it should
Because I
be.
mean, I live actually by a cell tower. I can look out, I can see the highway, and I can see cell towers off in the distance. If you know what they look like, kind of like poles with these little things off of
Like
them.
something to take off or something, like a space.
But yeah, like a may what do you call it, a maypole or whatever, like back in the day. Never mind, I'm thinking of something
Okay,
else.
so I'm trying to describe it as
But
best I can. It's like a lot of like some boosters on it or something like, and then some got lights on them, and some are more
but this
magnetic
is
than the
what
others.
people but this is what I think people are thinking is that the 5G did not create the coronavirus, but that it weakened your body's defenses against it. And I'm like, if you want to say that as a theory, well, then we can explore that. But I mean, I'm not for anybody believing that, okay, you know, 5G created the
Our
coronavirus.
body deals with so many types of radiations as it is anyway. Going on an airplane,
Hmm.
that's a type of
Yeah.
radiation. You deal,
Hmm.
your body can handle so much radiation, and to the point to where
Nice.
is there, and the physical effects of radiation is way different from actual coronavirus. I think that's safe to say too.
Yes.
So I mean, over, like, you getting over radiation is more of a, it's more of a catastrophic effect on the body than just corona. Corona works the way it does, but it's not a radiation type sickness. Like seems like it's just a simple.
This is what I always
well,
wondered.
radiation. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, Radiation in itself, what it does to liquid, given that the body is like 75 to 78% liquid, what radiation does to liquid is changes its molecular structure from a, like, if it was a, say if you put radiation directly on water and you can see through the water at first. After the radiation hits the water for so long exposure, the water would be murky and you wouldn't be able to see through it
Well, technically,
because of the radiation.
it would be technically deemed contaminated with radiation, and then there's levels
And
that
you
you can't see. It's not like a litmus test. There's actually things that
exact
you can
right,
actually.
exactly. So uh when they, just the theory wise, on a theory wise, when they speak on the radiation being the cause of quote unquote the coronavirus, um, they're speaking on the generalization of more radiation in itself, not just 5G. It's all the radiation combined on top of 5G being the new radiation added on to. Your microwave gives off radiation, your cell phone gives off radiation, your you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of your
yeah.
electronics, 9 times 10, if it's
So
electronic, it gives
you're
off a
dealing
certain
with some
level of
type of
radiation.
radiation. Yeah,
Right.
the
So then
level
once you
of it
introduce a
that
new
actually.
level of radiation onto the radiation that's already here, there's no radiation being taken away, but there's more radiation being added on.
It's
So
not
they
like
say, oh, it's
it's
the
like a gamma
5G, it's
ray
the
or nothing.
5G. It's not, it wouldn't be the call, it wouldn't be 5G the blame. It would be radiation in a whole, with 5G adding on more radiation
But
than
then
some
you got to
people's
look though.
body can
Radiation
handle.
might affect cancer, right? People
Exactly.
with corona not catching cancer.
Exactly.
Might be a change in charts with considering it with cancer if you think of it that way, because cancer
Right.
is treated with radiation. Am I correct?
Correct.
So there's different levels of that. So and
But it's
it,
different
it's
levels
true.
of,
Go ahead.
I don't know, different levels of disease caused by radiation before you get to a certain stage of cancer as well.
Well, yeah, and but that's goes the same as the same thing with our food. Our
Right.
food is different levels of poison in it that we can go our whole lifetime eating, but it's slowly killing us. It's the same thing
Exactly.
with
So
radiation.
Yeah.
It's
so
because the dosage of it.
when people generalize saying that the radiation from 5G is the cause, that's really not, that's, it's really
No.
just like
Oh,
saying
oh yeah, yeah, you're right, me. And then I
it's
forgot
too much more.
you was on the last one too.
Right, right,
So
right.
I'm following
It's
where
it's
you're going.
more so, it's more so like
Mhm.
people saying y'all adding too much poison to the system right now, that people's body can't, a lot of people's body can't handle this much poison in the system. It's
But you got to look at the people that's actually being affected from all walks of life, all different health, ethnicity,
right.
and stuff
But
like
this
that.
is why. This is why. Because everyone has a vibration of their own. Every animal, every plant, everything on the planet, from the walls to the stove, it all has a certain vibration. Everyone eats their own dietary foods, which builds their body. Every 3 to 5 years, you get a brand new cells inside and out, from your skin cells, blood cells, everything is regenerated. But whatever you've been consuming is what your body is using to create those new cells.
You make me
Now, if I
feel
go to
I'll
the
cheat that.
Ford plant, right? So if I go to the Ford plant and I'm getting the fresh metal off, y'all building the metal, y'all cutting it right now, melting it down, and I'm grabbing that and I'm building my body with that. Of course, ain't no 5G, no radiation gonna give me no type of problems. But when I've been 20, 30, 40 years of hitting the junkyard to rebuild my new car, and then I want to spray paint it and make it look good, but all of my parts came from the junk yard. It
Mm.
don't matter. It don't matter how good it look. I can look like The Rock, Stone Cold Stunner, and all of that, but the inside ain't worth shit. So when something like too much poison, too much levels of poison, because it don't matter what the poison is, radiation is poison. You drinking fluoride, you brushing your teeth with fluoride, then you taking shower with fluoride water. The shower is turning to
You
steam,
know the land
which is
something? It does
a
something
gas,
with the land.
fluoride steam. Now this is just poison on the level. Then now you pick up your cell phone. That's radiation poison. You throw your food in the microwave, you kill all the nutrients in it from the radiation from the microwave while standing next to the microwave, consuming those radiations. And then you eat this food, it's supposed to be, but it has no more nourishment and it's quote unquote organic, but it's not original. It don't have no seeds in it.
Hey, I got a question.
How the fuck you make some organic shit that's not original?
What if my microwave don't have no door?
What kind of microwave don't have a door?
What if my microwave don't have a door?
You said, what if it don't?
Yeah, my microwave don't have a door.
Does it work?
Yeah, it works. It cooks fine, but it just don't have a door. I don't know.
Pushing all that radiation out.
It's that radiation, okay?
It cooks other food. Like if I got some shit sitting on the counter, it's gonna cook that too. I'm just standing there like, you want some popcorn too? Put it on the counter.
So all
It
Right,
starts popping. I be heating up. I just
so,
be meatloaf and just put your
so all that radiation just leaching out. All of that
right,
radiation
small
just
kitchen though.
leaching
I
out
have a small kitchen
into.
though. So,
right. But
like a small big microwave.
people that's just saying that it's the 5G, they not grasping the full concept of
YouTube.
what it means to say it's the 5G. The reason that people are getting sick from the virus or whatever, it's 5G. They just saying it because it's the popular thing to say. They're not digging deep into it to even have
Yeah,
a
Yeah.
general reason of
if
why it
you're
even
doing
makes
research,
sense to
you will
you.
still be doing it from the beginning of the pandemic till now. Nobody has properly researched yet because things change.
Exactly.
And then people watch a YouTube video and think they know everything about
Oh my
everything.
God! You
And
know, I had
Oh
to
my
get away
most
I
from
be
that.
seeing
definitely.
I was guilty of that, but a lot of that stuff though is not what it is. It ain't it.
This is the thing.
but
YouTube videos are not made for solidification. They are made for you to think broader than what the fuck you was thinking before you watched the video. Now that
Yeah,
I'm thinking
exactly.
deeper
Right,
and I
right.
think on a different level, let me research some shit.
And
Like,
research is
how does the
going to
body
I think
work
I think
before
it's
I
good.
even right,
It's good for idea sharing and stuff like that. Like it's connecting people who, when we were growing up in high school, we had no ability to connect or reach out to people that was across the country without running up the long distance phone bill or something.
exactly.
But so
yeah.
it's very good. And YouTube can teach you a lot of things. Like I learned a lot of skills and like hobbies and stuff like that. Like I'm a musician as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned how to do things, with uh, audio workstations and stuff like that. I can build electronics and stuff just because I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube about it. But
Right.
what YouTube YouTube doesn't owe us any kind of liability or responsibility for our inability to process knowledge, and that's what a lot of people don't have, is the ability to synthesize, like to take stuff in and say, hey, maybe a piece of this is true, a portion of that, a little bit of this, I need some more of that. And then you build up your
Exactly.
own recipe for knowledge. But people go and watch one dude, like a lot of people, they hate it when I talk about them, but they'll get on there about Dr. Umar and tell me all the Black history based on what he said. And I'm
Oh
like,
my goodness.
no, no, it's
But you gotta
more. It's more to
understand that
that.
Dr. Umar is a
He wasn't a
Pan-Africanist.
practiced doctor though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's a and don't no wait.
and
He
then
was a
he
practiced
went up.
I
doctor. He
threw
worked
his
in he
name out
worked
there
in the
on
school.
purpose because I knew
But
that would do
Wasn't yeah?
something.
You knew it would.
right,
And
but
his case was based
the
off
thing about
trying to kill
Umar, the
people.
thing about Umar is like he's a Pan-Africanist. He only sees it from
Mhm,
one side of the spectrum. There's
mhm,
more than one side of the globe. Like it's it's
mhm,
more than one dimension. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Everything is more than one dimensional. So to look at something from one angle, from one perspective, or one idealistic, you know what I'm saying, is ridiculous.
You're gonna end up sounding like him instead of sounding like yourself.
And that's
That's
when you
what
Well,
start
ends up
doing that.
happening. Yeah.
that's but you got to
And me.
understand as well. A lot of people, a lot of people want somebody to follow. You see,
Mm,
if we
yeah.
want to go, if you believe or you don't believe, we just gonna talk about the concept of the story.
Mhm,
Adam and Eve, they wanted somebody to follow. God told Adam, don't eat from the tree. He didn't tell Eve shit. He gave Adam that responsibility. Why? Because this
mhm,
is your helpmate, right? You
mhm.
lonely in this garden, not me. So you know the rules. Keep the rules and regulations. All right.
That can be debated. That can be debated
It
for the simple fact everybody suffered for that. And
why
there was,
did
there was
every
symbolism
listen?
of
But this is why
them
everyone
dis-
suffered from
being
that.
disobeyed. disobeying. That's the whole point of that
Exact.
story. Somebody disobeying what was said to them. You can't disobey
Right,
somebody
but
that doesn't give you proper instruction because you didn't know.
no, wait, time
Mhm.
out. Because they disobeyed one person, but they followed
He said
instructions
they
from
though.
someone else, though.
He said they.
They didn't make a decision of their own.
They
They
made
never
that
made a
decision when
conscious
they
decision of
disobeyed
their
him,
own.
and he gave them fair warning.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Eve was coaxed into eating the apple. She didn't just walk over there and say, you know what? I know I was told not to eat from the tree of life, which is not a actual fruit apple, but we're calling it the apple.
Mhm.
I know I'm not supposed to eat from the tree of life, but think I'm gonna try it anyway. No, somebody gave her the idea. Somebody planted the seed. She followed someone else's instructions.
Mhm.
And it went against what the first initial instructions were.
Exactly. So
So the
what
initial
I'm saying
instructions
is
were this.
people are looking for people are looking for someone to follow. They don't look to put in the time and effort to research
Well,
themselves.
no, my what I
Right.
get from that is people don't want to have someone. They don't want to follow instruction. They don't want to follow
You,
instruction. Simple instruction.
this,
Don't eat it. They ate it.
but you
Everything
know
else
what?
is
Well,
I hate to blow y'all. I ain't gonna blow y'all minds with this or whatever, because I'm sure you probably heard it before. But it's just because we on the topic of Adam and Eve. But that whole story is basically symbolic of something else, a problem that
I
we
know.
have in society, which is
yes, yes, definitely.
um the relationship of men and women. So the
Yeah,
They
apple
ain't gonna get
never
what women want.
existed.
They gonna do what women want them to do.
But think about this: the
you jumping the
apple is
gun, bro.
lust. The apple is
The apple
lust,
is lust. Eve went off
and
and she lusted with someone else. She was
yes,
fornicating off in the garden with
yes,
the snake.
and
Right.
the
And
snake
then
is representation of Adam's pink. Obviously, so that
right.
whole story is about us actually learning how to relate to each other, because I believe this is what I believe just based on that story is that the relationship of men and women was never supposed to be as contentious as it is now. Like, we're supposed to actually see each other more brotherly and sisterly, but because Eve went off into her lust, she lusted for Adam, and of course he lusted back, and that's how they disobeyed God. And the tree of knowledge
Right.
was basically knowledge of sex, knowledge of sexuality and sensuality. And I believe that men and women were always going to be
Knowledge
created
of create,
to procreate with each other, but we weren't ever supposed
but they
to have.
was never gonna be able to do
Go
on
ahead.
our own.
That's right.
I feel that we was never supposed to do it on our own accord.
That's
We
right.
have babies whenever the fuck we feel like it. If I
Hmm.
feel like getting off this podcast right now and going and getting somebody, you see what I'm saying? I can do
Right.
that
Hmm.
because I choose to.
Hmm.
Animals, they didn't do that. They got a mating season.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Animals go in heat at a certain time for them to procreate. They don't just be off just humping. You know what I'm saying? Just randomly. You don't
Hmm.
just randomly just ride past and just see some deer having sex. Look up and
They
there's
have a
some rabbits
season.
having
You don't
sex,
know
and then
this
the
yet.
birds
I know
like
today's
just
cat don't got
randomly
no
like.
fucking time on his damn season. I'll say that shit.
Who?
The cat, nothing,
Oh.
nothing, nothing. Um,
but
but
but no,
but
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 no, it makes me wonder all the
that's
time, like,
part.
what would our relationships be like on earth had we never discovered lust and sex or whatever in the garden in the way that we did? Like, would we always be, on an equal plane, an equal footing? Because now the man is contentious against the woman because, even though every man doesn't internalize it, the woman is responsible for all of his woes somehow in life. And a woman is contentious against the man because of that, they um, have some kind of resentment towards women. So it's very hard to have a balanced relationship. And even in this day and age, it's hard to have a balanced relationship between man and woman where we're not just fulfilling roles and we're not just, trying to please each other, where we're actually a friend to each other. So that
Because
doesn't.
it's like it's crazy because it's kind of like y'all have a natural ability without doing anything to do so much in a sexual manner to
I don't
entice
know,
a
man.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? To entice a man to be a quote unquote dog. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But if you want to give
Yeah,
the
that's all in home
characteristics
training.
of a dog is loyal to his nature. And I mean, that can be your pit bull right there. And he can be as vicious as you made him and all that. And he don't mess with people. You the only one that he ever around and all of that. But if I come to that gate with them treats that you give him, oh, we finna have a different story. And that's where the
You was a
problem
dog
come
thief.
in. That's where the problem come in with men because we can't control that bone. That's why they tell that's the whole saying.
Hey, I'm gonna have to let y'all go on this one. You
Yo,
speaking
yo,
dirt on my name.
don't let your little
I
head overthink your
you
big
trust
head
my integrity. You speaking
because the little head got a mind of its own.
being
And now
reckless.
you
But you
over
know,
here
You being real reckless.
talking to my little head, and I can't
Yeah,
control what the little head on.
that's you all the way. That's you.
but
I ain't gonna
Abdul, we gotta come back to this though. We gotta have an adult conversation related to this. That's not okay. We won't get graphic, but I think
Right,
it's
right.
something to be
Okay.
said here.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
definitely. Definitely. It's certain input. So I mean, it's all respectable. Nobody disrespecting each other. Reaching. Yeah, you there
No,
like.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah. When you go back, just watch the end of it, Trip. Just watch the end of
Okay. Of the
it was
last one,
crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we
It
I,
was
I
go
crazy.
will.
back
I
to that
will.
though, because I mean, I disagree, but I love them to death. Like we get back to that conversation. That's it. But right
Huh?
now, I ain't what you talking about, bro.
Said what happened?
Nothing happened. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Thanks, bro. I gotta
I'm
let y'all
worried
go,
now. I
man.
gotta go watch it. I
Oh
gotta
my
go
goodness.
watch it.
Hey, but all right, y'all. This has been excellent post, man. Time goes fast when you running when you having fun. It's actually went
Oh
like
yeah.
almost 30 minutes over, and we started on time. CPT.
Mm.
I was having trouble, man. I don't know. My connection was horrible. At
No,
first, I got kicked off, and then when I came back, I couldn't hear part of the conversation.
you know,
Like my
the
phone
person
was
that
like going breaking up.
he said I got kicked out. I'm like, I don't know how. I got a good connection
I,
and everything.
I know it was my connection. It was my connection for sure, but I didn't think it was gonna kick me out. Like what the fuck?
I don't
And it
know.
wouldn't let me
I
come
got
back
good
in.
internet, and I got a paid account too. So everything is good on this one.
Yeah, when I was trying to come back in, at first it wouldn't let me come back in. So I'm like, let me hit him up and see what the hell happened. Maybe the session over or
I just
something. I
said you
missed it
send
or
it
something.
back, and I'll let you back in because it does it
Yeah.
sometimes. Anytime I do that for future reference, though, just sign back in. I'm always looking at it right here, so I'll let you right back in.
Yeah, yeah.
But all right, it's been a good one. It's in the books. I'll send y'all this. If y'all not, are y'all subscribed?
Yeah, you know I am.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay, so I don't have to send it to
Right.
you.
So you ain't gotta send it to me once it posts, it's gonna be up. Let's go.
All right, cool. I appreciate y'all too.
All right.
All right.
All right, thanks, Rick,
All right.
and
All
thanks for
right.
sharing
Good
too.
night.
I did not know that. I'm gonna talk to you on the sidebar too.
Okay.
All right.